Hello there folks, SeKo Beercraft here, speeding up the replay between e.g. iNcontroL and ImbaQQ Pharaoh. Yes, I like that team name ImbaQQ, I think that's pretty cute. Anywho, I haven't actually cast an iNcontroL game in a long time, glad to see he's still out there playing around a bit on ladder, probably doing a bit more just coaching and obviously being a personality at this point for Evil Geniuses. Still really enjoy the guy, he's a little polarizing, but I do actually enjoy his commentary. He adds a lot of character, you could say, to the game when he's casting it, so pretty big fan of that, and a little bit after my own heart, a little bit of on the chill side of casting, just kind of not taking things too seriously, which I think is important with the game. I'm casting a lot of clan wars and tournaments recently, and it's just interesting to see the difference between players take the game a little too seriously versus the ones that are kind of just having fun with it, and this is still really high level stuff too, so even at a really high level of Starcraft 2, I think it's still something to have fun with. Maybe when you're actually making a living off of it, you can take a little bit more pressure, but till then, just have some fun, people. Reaper opening against the Cybernetics Core opening, the basics of the basics opening for both of these players, hence why I was speeding up the replay. SCV is coming down here as well. He's going to be able to see what's going on. Stalker is coming out right now. Quick run around the base, doesn't see anything yet. But we are getting a sneaky sneak probe, sneaky. Reaper does come up. We can slow it back down again here. But the Stalker does come out in enough time to push that away. Now, see, looks like he's gonna, oh, maybe just be for scouting. I mean, you can throw down like a Stargate or something over here. We'll see if that's gonna be the case. Command Center is always a long ways done at this point. Reaper is scouting around. He didn't see a Nexus down, so at that point you're just like, well, you know, something's got to be happening. Already got 400 minerals in place. Nexus is started. Oh yes. And we do have the Reaper. He is scouting around everywhere. We'll see if he comes down here and finds us. It looks like he's on the way to do that. So this probe's going to be short-lived. Stalker is at the front being a bit of a bugger. We thought it might distract this Reaper a bit. No, this Reaper's on a mission. It doesn't... I don't know if he saw that probe or not. Actually, a little bit of hull damage here from the Stalker. 3 kills on it, though. Very impressive. He's got to get out of there. The Reaper could come in and finish this off. I'm a little surprised. I would have liked to have seen the Reaper come back. Picking up a Stalker is actually pretty important. Probe's still hiding out down here. The Reaper will get picked off before it sees anything. Where'd that Robo? There's the Robo on that side. I wouldn't mind seeing a proxy Robo. 2 immortal busts on a map like this. Pretty good. I like this from Protoss players. That's why, for me, I love the 3 Stalker opening. You know, 2 gates, 3 Stalkers, early pressure. If you a little bit of micro, if you get in there long before the Marauders are out, and if the Marauders don't have concussive shells, the Terran's not going to have stim or waste a bunch of stims on you in the early game. 3 Stalkers across the map can just be a pain in the ass. We actually got a good sizable chunk of army here. We'll see if our Terran player wants to move out in the next little bit and maybe put on some pressure. Looks like that's going to be the case. I like these little move outs. It should be scouted just fine. Photon overcharge should be able to shut it down. But that little bit of bio, with combat shields about to finish up, can actually get in quite a bit of damage. The Protoss player doesn't know if concussive shells is ready at this point. So that's why he's got to bring his Stalkers back. 1 concussive shell hit means you're going to lose that unit. Pretty devastating at this point in the game. Army does come in here. Photon overcharge is triggered. You're going to lose that mothership core. This is a big problem with a lot of Protoss players, is that they feel they don't really, you know, micro around that mothership core. He lost a lot of probes in that as well. This has already been quite successful. Does save that Stalker. Nice control there. Oh shit, son. Come back to the game. I windowed out rather than seeing how many workers we got. 5 kills and the mothership core. See, now if it was just the 5 probes, I'd been okay. But that mothership core, it adds so little to your fight that you might as well trigger that and just run it away. Like, that's a desperation thing. It's like pulling probes. With that amount of army there, it's so easy to kill and it costs so much. So that's why a little shocking you just kind of dump that away. Still have this probe down here. Yeah, there's the pylon. I say there is Looks like the 2 Immortals. It might be a 2 Immortal bust. Just go and put on a little bit of pressure, a little bit of damage. Stalkers are bouncing around. Terran players at a pretty good stage. This is just a normal, standard kind of opening. 3 racks, double, medevacs coming out. No Widow Mines. I'm a pretty big fan of Widow Mines in my compositions early on. Defensively, offensively, I think they can add a ton of damage. It doesn't always. Sometimes they don't always work, but when they do, I don't always drink beer, but when I do, I'm actually having it in his gun right now. Toasted Oak IPA. Worth a try if people are into such things. And he will go for the Immortal drop. This little bit of an attack here, Protoss player does see. He is going to divert his core. He might have to bring the Warp Prism back home to help defend against this. Doesn't have a lot of units out right now. This is pretty much everything. If he was to go for that Immortal drop, it would almost turn base racy. I mean, 2 Immortals can take on, you know, a ragtag amount of units like this. But you need the micro. You need to be able to micro the Warp Prism. And in this case, I don't know what that was. Should have been paying more attention. Oh well, might have been a stalker. Who knows? Another attack's coming in here. Immediately got the photon overcharge down. Actually, he's going to stim right in. He's already got 1 Immortal. Almost gets the second there, but he takes a ton of damage. 1 medevac goes down. He is focus firing the medevacs. No blink or anything to chase down this army. The stalkers might be able to grab 1 or 2 kills, but they got to be careful. I believe concussive shells is finished. It is. So this is one of those stalkers getting too far out in front. Yeah, you can't stim past death, obviously. Ooh, a little bit of an unfortunate attack once again. Those concussive shells are going to grab him a bunch of free stalkers. There's no blink. If you got blunk, it can be a little crazier. If you don't have blunk yet, you're in a lot of trouble. And Pharaoh's got a great lead at this point. I'd say he's got a great lead. This command center is almost finished. Good sized army. Upgrades going along very good. And he's got an overall supply lead. And right now, this looks so puny of an army compared to this. That's why I love these Terran pressure builds. You keep that Protoss army really small. You keep them off extra bases. Yeah, sometimes you don't take the best trades, and then you just lose. But if you can get in there and keep the Colossus count down, keep the economy down, you actually can turn out doing pretty good here. No drops. I'm sure the Protoss player is going to be, there it is, going to be worried about this. Army is out of position extremely at this point. Going to come into the base, grab a couple pylons. This you got to be very careful of as a Protoss player. The Terran player was aware of this. Probably actually would have picked off both of those. Once is still no blink. Does such you get a free Colossus there? This bit of army is in the wrong place at the wrong time. And we'll get out of there. Still, great little attack there by Pharaoh. I'm actually quite impressed with his control so far. Everything's healed up. He's going to collect his army up. And he's done good damage. He took out 1 of the Colossus. He knows that there's no third Nexus yet. He already has another base done. More production on the way. Great position here out of Pharaoh. Could be starting on his next upgrades though. Doesn't quite have the resources to start them just yet. We can see that iNcontroL hasn't been slowing down. Essentially what, 1-1, no 0-1, holy crap. Against what's going to be, you know, 0-2 pretty soon. So upgrades could become a factor in this game. I'm hoping that he remembers that he's got these over here. He does have the money to spend now. Some buildings need to be rallied. This could be a big killer. At all levels, amateur and pro, you'll see that players a lot of times will forget to rally a lot of their buildings, their new buildings, out to everything else. Scan sees the timing of the Nexus, sees that there's no army in position to defend it. He might just bum rush in here. We do have Storm almost finished up, but I don't think there's enough energy in any of these High Templars, so he just cancels that base straight out. Which in itself is a good win for Pharaoh. Look at the supply difference right now between these two players. Vikings being produced 3 at a time. There's his extra upgrades on the way, including vehicle weapons. Looking in great shape right now. A little bit supply blocked. He's got more supply depots going down. when you really get into a comfortable position as a Terran player, and all your production goes down, your economy is going good, you get supply blocks real fast. He's actually going to go ahead and take his 4th command center, putting all this pressure against iNcontroL here. It just is allowing him to not have to worry about Zealot run buys. Like, iNcontroL can't really afford to do a bunch of run buys, and this is really, I'm not going to say amateur, but having all of your High Templars stacked up like this, it's a pretty big risk. Probably could have come up there and sniped a couple. That's the risk of keeping them all together, and we do have ghosts already started 5 at a time. 1 EMP could clear this all up. Vikings could clean up all the Colossus, and you're in a ton of poop. Like, you're in big, sweaty, stinky poops. We actually do have a little bit of a Zealot push down here. Good pylon positioning, and it should just get the cancel on that command center. We actually don't have any... We don't have any bunkers or anything over on this side. No micro. Zealots? Zealots are pretty good. If you're not going to micro against them, Zealots eventually just kill everything. iNcontroL still down a ton of supply. He's not got the best economy or tech. But he's keeping in there a little bit. Even more Zealots coming in. Cancel both of those command centers. This is just a pain in the ass. Terran army is already clumped up together, and it looks like he's just going to go for it. Losing add-ons, he's losing some of his production here. He might start losing some economy. Pretty big mistake. We'll see if he can actually handle this fight. Oh no, is he... There's so many storms in here. Big storm on the Vikings. Some EMPs go off, but it doesn't hit enough. Look at the supplies plummet for both of these players. The Vikings land before the Colossus are dead. And behind this, he's lost an entire base full of economy. That changed this game a lot there. Now, iNcontroL still not in a great position. Blink just finally started now, and that's very surprising for me, actually. Blink is just like the mainstay of Protoss armies. He's actually going to pick up and just get the hell out of there. Which I don't blame him at this point. If we look at the overall economy, Protoss is in the lead now. Command centers now are on the way for Pharaoh, but he's got a lot of work now to catch back up to where he was. More storms. That was a bad storm. Now, I don't think there's any more Colossus in production. I think he's just got the 1 right now. The Protoss player's pretty starved. He does have this next base started over here, but he's in tough spots. Our Terran player mined out of his main. Lots of extra work. That's so many workers. Looks like he's going to take another base here pretty soon. Yeah, he's going to go over there, probably put it into a planetary. This base, very undersaturated still. Just starting to reinforce that. 3-2 on the way. His opponent, I think, is just going up to +3 armor. Oh, he's got +1 attack in there as well. Scan, sees what's going on. Still a pretty paltry army from our Protoss player. Nice snipes. Terrible, terrible storm. I don't know if there's any High Templars in here. There's one storm used. Great EMPs hit everything. Vikings aren't engaging. There they go. Lots of charge lots coming in here. We'll see if the... I don't think the Protoss player's got enough here. Pre-splitting takes a little bit of storms to the face like a champ. Such is life. I think that's going to be it for iNcontroL. Just going to boost in here. So many Marauders. Nice storms. Oh, man. I thought this one Mothership Core was just going to take everything, so I thought it was just Marauders left. But those were great storms. There's nothing to follow it up with. Well, those Zealots, they'll do stuff. One Archon, you know, trying to beast mode it. These Zealots should chase things back. On this side, some more Zealots are running by, but there's enough army back here right now. The economy for iNcontroL is just so bad right now. He does have this base finished, and I don't know if the Terran player is aware of it. Upgrades, 2-2, soon to be 3-2, up against, well, 3-1, actually pretty even. Double Immortals right now. Maybe he just can't afford to get out, and this is an interesting transition point for Protoss. Sometimes you just can't afford. You can afford Colossus, but you can't afford Stalkers as well. If you can't afford to shoot down the Vikings, going for Colossus is pretty tough. So a lot of times you'll see Protoss players in that position go into very strong Zealot Storm kind of mixtures, so that way you only have to worry about one type of unit. There's a planetary down here. We never did see a Dark Shrine. Tons of Zealots. Archon's doing a ton of damage in the back. The Vikings do get landed. It looks like they will blast through a couple of Archons. Charge lots are good. Like, don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Just tons of charge lots will wreck through a lot of army. Some EMPs, though, would probably help out a lot here. A bit of Sutter stepping. This Terran army is pretty beat up. Not a lot of medevacs overhand, but you can look at the supplies are pretty different as well. 5th base on the way. Production from the Terrans is going really, really good. He's about to meet up and having a lot of ghosts in here. Supplies down, but the composition is great. I want to click the ghost. There we go. 7 ghosts in there. I don't think we've got a couple of High Templars in here. Nobody's got enough for Storm just yet. Does see this base going down. That's likely going to be his next target. Needs more medevacs out. Great snipes. I don't know if there's any energy for Storms anyways, but that gets cleaned up. Ghosts obviously are great for just picking off a lot of... Oh, look at that Storm! Ugh. There was 2 Storms on that guy as well. He only managed to get the 1 off, but that's still a great Storm. 1 Colossus in here. And it's going to go down pretty easy. And there's the GG. Pretty good game there out of Pharaoh. Other than his inability to dodge some storms and, you know, deal with some harassment, pretty solid play. SeKo Starcraft, thanks everybody for watching. We'll talk with you later.